Hi, good evening. Good. Now. Good evening and welcome to our November 7th, 2023 board meeting. May I ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Should have mentioned it's election day. Hope everyone had opportunity to go out and vote. Let me start with the approval. Thank you. I know that Veterans Day is not till Friday, but I hope everyone out there has the opportunity to thank and honor our vets for all they have done for our country. So thank you again for your service. Mr. Poole, Superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'd like to start off with our middle school student
Oh, so nice, right? Yeah. Ukuleles are very cool. Very neat. This is exciting. Absolutely. Look at this. That was terrific. Thank you so much. Thanks, students. That was really a nice musical treat tonight. Good.
To continue my superintendent's report, I am going to turn the first part of the update to the board to our student ex officio trustees, and I will turn it over to Emily to start that.
Hi, good evening. My name is Emily Sherrill. I'm so excited to be here. This position is such an honor. In addition to my community involvement with this position and volunteering at a local food pantry, I'm a part of the Symbols Club for Art and Literature and Chamber Orchestra. I've been working on college applications. So far, I've applied to Stony Brook, New Paltz, Binghamton, and MIT with early action applications, with my preferred major being biochemistry. I would like to thank the guidance staff, especially Ms. Simez, for helping me through the admissions process. Likewise, a huge thanks goes to Ms. Nazer, Ms. Zito, Mr. Barry, Mr. Ball, and Ms. Gilroy for writing me letters of recommendation and helping me edit my application essays. For the high school report, the community relations class is hosting a food drive, and there are donation boxes in the lobbies of 3 of our schools as well as in district office. They will be accepting non-perishable donations until November 17th. Also, the boys varsity cross-country team placed third at the county Class B race on Friday. 2 SWR runners made the top 10. Noah Wojcimierski placed 10th, and Patrick Shea came in 6th place. Patrick will race at the state meet on Friday.
Hello, my name is Shay Barron. I decided to apply for this role because I believe I have the ability to offer a wide variety of student perspectives, as I'm heavily involved with my academics and extracurricular activities. Academically, I'm taking 6 AP classes this year, and I'm also the co-president of the Women in Science and Engineering Club. I also play volleyball, where I took on the role of captain this past year. Outside of school, I've worked at an ice cream shop, Sweets and Scoops, for the past 3 years, where I serve as a manager. Additionally, I volunteer at Peconic Bay Medical Center, where I work as an emergency department ambassador. I plan to go to medical school and major in biology at my undergrad, and I've currently applied to 5 schools early action, and I plan to apply to 9 more regular decision. As far as teachers, Miss Gilroy has helped me very much with the application process. I've spent a lot of time with her and extra help, where she looked over my essays, as well as Dr. Neff, who has wrote me a letter's recommendation, and they've both been very helpful and supportive and made my the stressful time a lot less stressful. I'm eager to work with the Board of Education during my senior year, and thank you for this opportunity. As far as the high school report, the girls' soccer team played in the county championship this past Wednesday, where they defeated Kings Park, and they moved on to the Long Island Championship on Saturday, where they defeated Plain Edge. They are now going to compete at states over this weekend at Cortland. Additionally, swimmer Emily Herr participated in the Section 11 championship and took first place, where she broke a record in the race. Thank you.
Thank you.
Then the artists and musicians in Shoreham-Wading River. I'm a member of the National Honor Society as well as the Triumph Music Honor Society, and I'm also one of 2 senior editors in the yearbook club. I'm very involved in theater in the high school, and I just finished up the SpongeBob musical, which was a great success. I plan to study graphic design next year, and I'm currently preparing to submit my first college applications. I'm also working on my portfolio to submit to art schools, and my counselor, Ms. Simas, has been very helpful with any questions I've had regarding the application process, and I'm just overall very excited to see where the rest of the year takes me. As far as the high school report, about a week and a half ago, the high school put on our fall production of the SpongeBob musical on October 26th, 27th, and 28th. And this show was a great success and involved a large group of students, not only in the cast, but also in the tech crew and pit orchestra. Thank you.
Thank you all. That was a great update.
That was great. I think I want to give you the rest of the of the report. The future's bright for our community and the state. You 3 represent so well. I feel great about the future, hearing about all of your accomplishments. Exciting to think where you guys are going to ahead. And you covered all the high school things. That's wonderful. I just do want to mention on sports that the football team also advanced to the final round. They'll be playing on Friday night at Babylon along the way. I do want to add the SpongeBob, the musical production was absolutely amazing. The show gets better every year. It's Broadway quality. And I also want to give a little nod out to the production crew and set design team. Every year they seem to take that up another notch and another level. So beautiful production and a lot of fun. Over at the middle school, last Friday, Ms. Schweitzer took her French students on a field trip to Crazy Crepes in Ronkonkoma to teach them all about authentic French food and culture. I did not get an invite. I would have went to that one.
No, crepes are good.
This Wednesday, the 8th grade class will celebrate our veterans with a special assembly organized by Ms. Seneca. During the assembly, our 8th graders will hear motivational stories of service and sacrifice from our community's veterans. Over at Miller Avenue hosted its annual costume parade and spooky hallway walk on Halloween. What is it? Just a gorgeous day. Lots of fun over at Miller Avenue. This past week, Nature Nick visited Miller Avenue. He brought over owls. I didn't hear about the alligators, but owls, alligators, snakes, hedgehogs, and a falcon. Thanks to the Miller Avenue PTO for helping to bring Nature Nick over to Miller Avenue this year. On Wednesday, November 8th, Miller Avenue will host its inaugural Veterans Day Parade. They are going to host over 35 veterans and their families for breakfast and a festive parade to celebrate and honor their service to our country. And then later on next week, Miller Avenue second graders will be visited by the Suffolk County Police Department, and an SRO officer will visit each class, and the event will culminate with an exciting K-9 demonstration along the way. Just a note on the profile of a graduate survey, if anybody's listening. The profile of a graduate survey has about 230 responses. I am looking for 2,000 responses, so please take the survey. I don't know if our students can help us with getting more high school students to take the survey. It's about 2 or 3 minutes. It could happen during home base. It takes just a few moments. Anybody listening, families could check Parent Square for the survey link. I will be sending out another reminder. I will be robocalling every evening. Just kidding, but please do. Please do take the survey. Just a note, in the top 10 responses to date, academically well-rounded, responsible, effective communicator, confident, adaptable, financially literate, creative, and a leader. So those are some of the top responses to date. Encourage everybody to chime in and have their voice heard. I'd like to thank Mr. Meinster and our administrators and teachers for just a great day of professional learning today. I know students were off, it was election day, but today was staff development day. It's so clear that as educators, our administrators and teachers are invested in their own continual growth in the field of education. Some of the topics this year included crisis prevention intervention, IEP transition services, positive behavior supports, artificial intelligence, curriculum reviews, and a host of instructional practices. And our staff, such as nurses, social workers, physical education teachers, technology teachers, were able to attend regional conferences with peers from other school districts to learn best practices. I mentioned AI. I know I put a call out for community members to join and staff to join our generative AI committee. We have over 20 committee members signed up with a wide array of experiences in artificial intelligence in the field, some with no experience, students, some residents. So I'm looking forward to getting that work started next month, so as we can start to develop a position statement for the district, as well as best practices, professional development opportunities, and integrating where that program makes sense to integrate. This evening on the agenda, we have a presentation from Dr. Policelli on our STEM programming, and an update on the middle school program from Mr. Van. And just a note, I will be doing a robocall for this. On Friday, November 17th, all students will be released 15 minutes earlier than their normally scheduled dismissal time. This is our annual test of our early dismissal response as required by New York State and as a part of our safety planning. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Poole, and thank you, students, for the updates. Next up on our agenda tonight is our student recognition. We're going to be swearing in Emily, Hannah, and Shay. So I think, yeah, there you go. Let's go ahead and you all three can hop over to the right, go over to the microphone, right? Ms. Mahoney will meet you at the podium. So we could proceed with swearing the students in. Okay, good. Yep, got it. Can you get through?
After me.
Congratulations and welcome. Thank you. Next up on our agenda are reports and reviews. Want to ask Mr. Kevin Van, our middle school principal, to provide his report. And just want to thank you, Mr. Van, for hosting us this evening. And Ms. McCarty, welcome. Good to see you.
Before I get started, I just wanted to see, anyone need me to move the flag? You guys can see okay?
We're good. No,
Good?
we're, yep,
Okay.
great. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you once again. Good evening, ex officio members, former students, current board members, and of course, members of the district office. It's my pleasure to give you an overview tonight of what's been happening thus far this year at Prodell. We are the home to approximately 450 students, grade 6 through 8, and are supported by about 100 staff members within the school. We take pride in focusing on the academic, social, emotional, artistic, musical, athletic development of all our students, and we try to do that focusing on a student-centered approach. Just wanted to start the presentation by revisiting one of our major initiatives from last year was the implementation of a 9-period day, which we had hoped would open up some more opportunities for students within the school day to get some more exploratory classes and to take some courses they may otherwise have been limited to due to the 8-period day. And just wanted to say it was a lot of work from many different stakeholder groups that went into this project, and I was very happy really with the results. Just a couple of bullet points there. Our music ensemble participation has remained steady. I think students appreciate the fact that it's within the school day. They're still able to take part in multiple ensembles. They're not limited to just one. Enrollment in the specials, the new specials has either maintained or increased in some circumstances. Overall world language enrollment has increased, which is what we would have hoped for students who may get some services that opened up some room in the schedule for them to take those courses. And AM extra help and the way we're able to, Ms. Biscardi particularly, was able to schedule, the duty schedule really opens up a lot of availability for students to attend extra help during the course of the school day, particularly during lunch. I just wanted to focus a little bit on a couple of the 6th grade specials that came out of this initiative. Virtual Traveler is a course that was conceived and designed by Ms. Fallon, one of our social studies teachers here at the middle school. It was designed with an eye towards fostering and growing not only geographical skills, but also cultural awareness as well. That is in support of the 6th grade world history curriculum, but as well as setting the stage for global awareness that is so important as students move into U.S. history in grades 7 and 8. What you'll see here is just an example of, oh, did I go too far? Yes. Example of one of the projects they had, which was a dream vacation project where students researched under the direction of Ms. Kalin and Ms. Fallon in our library, and they were able to actually visit some of these countries through our virtual reality technology. So it was really kind of a full circle for them, and they really enjoyed that. And I have to say, Ms. Kalin has been very supportive of these new specials as well, incorporating research. In our STEAM class, under the direction of Ms. Vitale, students are always engaged in hands-on activities, discovery activities, such as the Origami Swan Project, which was also done in support of our commemoration of the 9/11 on Patriots' Day. Moving on to some highlights from our STEM program. I don't want to go too deep into this because I know Dr. Palicelli is going to be speaking as well. But I just want to highlight a few things, particularly the phenomenon-based inquiry that we've shifted to, and which is really focused more on student noticings and wonderings, coming up with a scenario and have students formulate their own questions and their own inquiry. And the teacher acts more as a kind of a guide in helping the students along the way. And I really just wanted to take a moment to recognize the science department, who's really worked extremely hard over the past couple of years with these shifts, the shift from 6th to 6th grade life sciences and physical sciences in 7th grade. And they've worked not only together within the grade bands, but across grade bands to get themselves up to speed and to really give a full effort on that. And they've really worked very hard. Specifically, Ms. Gilmore and Ms. Constant were our 6th grade science teachers. The shift to life sciences was certainly new to them in the past year and a half, and they really have worked incredibly hard to become experts within, in the science curriculum, because the certification is, elementary certification. So they've really gone over and above, and I really wanted to just recognize them for the hard work that they're doing with that regard. We try to, obviously do as many hands-on interactive experiments as we can. You guys probably remember some of this, right, with the density lab where in Mr. Redmond's class, and that's become so ingrained in the culture of the school, kind of, that we've pushed that into all the 8th grade science classes. Mr. Marino has taken part in that as well. They still haven't found a tub big enough for me, but if they get there one day, I'm willing to give it a shot. But they're just beautiful, beautiful experiments. And if you see the bottom right-hand corner there, that's one of the 6th grade science experiments where they use chicken wings within the class to really demonstrate the connection between ligaments and bones and muscles and how they work. Lunch ladies are not too happy about that one because it's a little rough. We get a lot of salads on that day in class. But they've really done a wonderful job with that. Humanities, the big thing I think would be the literacy collaborative work that we've completed with Sarah Cordova, and I know Ms. Wallbauer gave a presentation on that a couple of weeks ago. And just the fact that we're able to shift towards that workshop model and conferencing with students, and I think the consistency of instruction or the model of instruction across grades 6, 7, and 8 is really benefiting students and their comfort level and how to access the material through that format. Social Studies is My World Interactive is being fully implemented this year, which is a platform for students in social studies. It rolled out to 6th graders last year, and it's really received some positive reviews from students and from the teachers as well. The ENL program is still growing and building. Very excited recently. We were just able to get some technology with the help of Mr. Meinster for some students who are really limited English proficient. We were able to get some software where the teacher can actually wears the headset and communicates, talks to the student in English, and it translates to Mandarin right within their ear. So it's real-time conversations. And as the student responds back in his native language, it also then translates back to English. So it's really something that we're still kind of new to us, but we're so excited about the possibility of that. And we appreciate the support of everyone with regards to that. Something new this year that we implemented, and this is in Ms. Mellis's Learning Center Social Studies class, was a career exploration day. Students took interest inventories to see what kind of careers they might want to be involved in as they move on, and then we invited folks from the community in to come in to speak to them. And we had some really interesting folks. We had a retired Air Force major and current Suffolk County Police Aviation Officer, Ms. Musselman, who actually is a resident of the district and has a student in the school. And she came in and talked about her experiences in the service as well as with the Suffolk Aviation. She's going to be visiting with us for Veterans Day tomorrow as well, which we're excited about. We had a former graduate, who was one of my students when I was at the high school, Matthew Kirby, who is a first mate in the Merchant Marines. He spoke to students about what it's like to be on an oil tanker in the Gulf of Mexico in difficult conditions. And we had a local Bakewitz Farms was represented. Marion Bakewitz from Bakewitz Farms came in and talked to students, as well as a local nurse to come into the classroom. And kids were able to ask questions. They got to understand what a typical day was in all of those careers. So it was a really nice addition, I think, to that program to make some local connections with the community. Of course, our mental health team and our guidance department are always at work trying to support students across a variety of venues, as you can see up there. The welcome back assemblies this year, we had grade level, reviewed what the expectations were with regard to the joint or the communal aspect of what we would want with regard to having a school that we can all be proud of, and the mutual obligation that we have to each other to hold us up, one another up to those standards. I have to say, Ms. Biscardi put together a great presentation for students highlighting these expectations, as well as some really innovative reflection pieces that we use when we deal with student behavior. So it's been really helpful to students and beneficial to all of us. Red Ribbon Week, we just completed recently. We had poster contests, a drug-free pledge, presentations by the Suffolk County Police Department. We always have Dr. Claire come in, who also doubles as our boys soccer coach, and speaks to students about, you know, just the negative impact of smoking and nicotine. And it's a very personal story that he tells about his mom and her experiences. And I think the fact that the students know him from, you know, from the school and from the community and from coaching really hits home. And he always does such a wonderful job with that. We had Unity Day, which is a day where students from the Leadership Club after school put positive Post-its all around the building, on students' lockers. They put them everywhere, on the teachers' mailboxes and whatnot, and we all obviously try to dress in orange. There's a couple of folks there who, I don't know if they really had orange on, but they jumped into the photo, so we celebrated that with students as well. There's some photos from the Red Ribbon Week. We have a poster contest through the advisories, 6, 7, and 8. Always very creative, always very innovative. The winning advisories received some gifts for that as well. This year we added a couple of additional character education assemblies. We had Rohan Murphy join us. He's a gentleman who is a wrestler for Penn State. He grew up in East Islip, and he talked to the students about just overcoming adversity, not letting limitations define you. He talked about the power of one particular teacher who encouraged him as a young man to become involved in sports. He ended up being a wrestler for Penn State. We had the mats out here. We had a couple of unfortunate volunteers come up and wrestle him, and it did not go well for them. But they had such a great time, and he actually just was in communication with Ms. Biscardi, saying he's received lots of positive feedback from the students. He gives them the social media connection, and they were corresponding with him saying they really enjoyed it and he inspired them. And we're going to look forward to having him back as well. Next week we have a speed painter coming in who's also a motivational speaker, Barab Surratt. It's called Hero Art. He's going to come in and speak with students about just a motivational speaker, but he does these incredible paintings in a short period of time and really keeps the kids engaged and connected. So we're looking forward to adding those types of things to our program as well. Wildcats with Character, as we know, we began that program a couple of years ago. I have to give a lot of credit again to Mrs. Biscardi for really enhancing that program with all of her quotes each day and her connection and kind of taking the lead in that program. So each month we have teachers nominate students who they see displaying those traits. So this was Kindness Month. This was the first one in September. And we recognize, 10 or 15 students for, just being positive role models and setting an example of what kindness can do in the school. So we're excited to continue with that program as well. Empowering Minds is, to be honest with you, it's been a struggle to try to figure out where they fit it into our day. So we're very fortunate this year. We're working and pushing it into health classes with school psychologists, and they're just teaching students about positive behavioral traits and attitudes. And it's nice because the kids connect with this because they've had it in elementary school. So they're familiar with the language, they're familiar with the themes. I have to credit Ms. Benz and Mr. Lee for jumping right in and kind of team teaching that in the health classes. And it's gone extremely well, and we're happy to really be able to get that into the school day on a regular basis. The library, as you guys were in there earlier, continues to hum along under the direction of Ms. Kalin. So many innovative things in here. You saw the bookshelves. 50 is a big theme, obviously, this year, Mr. Poole. So she's got 50 authors to know, 50 great books to read, and a variety of 50 reasons to read, amongst her other work with bringing in virtual collections and collections on loan from the county as well. So she always does a wonderful job for us over there, along with the use of the maker space, and there's your 50 themed bulletin board. Extracurricular groups, obviously we're always looking to add to those and to run those. It's great to have a variety of programs, as you can see up there, try to appeal to all the different student interests, not only performing groups, but other groups that are just, more community-based and, fundraisers and just doing good community service. So we have those on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. The days we have the buses at 3:30. They're always well attended, particularly among 6th grade students, because it's an opportunity for them to get involved in some after-school activities. Our sports programs, obviously, in this district, we do very well with that. We have very high participation. We had 160 students participating in the fall sports out of a possible 300, so we had more than half the kids involved in one of the variety of activities, sports that we've had. We're meeting with the teams at the beginning of each season and trying to not only emphasize the importance of, learning the sport and playing well, but to be good sportsmanship and support one another and kind of really teach it in that way as well. And the students, I think, have taken to that quite well. Field experiences, our field trips, we're currently enrolling students in the DC trip this year, which will be in April. We're excited about that. Connecticut State Park's an outdoor field experience that we added a few years ago. Christmas Carol's coming up. That's a tradition here for the 6th grade students for the ELA program. That'll be in December. New York City music trip this year. The music ensemble's going. That's going to be Hamilton. It's a hot ticket, so I will be chaperoning that one for sure. So we're excited. The kids are very excited for that one. Looking forward to that. That'll be in March. West Hampton Beach Performing Arts Center, we added that a couple years ago as well received. And of course, the crazy crepe that Mr. Poole had mentioned earlier. That was a combined trip actually for 7th grade, 8th grade French students and high school students as well. They had a really nice time. Just some recent capital improvements, which we took a look at earlier today, is the locker rooms. Did a wonderful job in the locker rooms. Really nice, clean, beautiful space. Great job with the resurfacing the lockers, the floors, and the custodial department has just done a wonderful job. Just wanted to recognize Mike Magro, who's our head custodian, who's really just done an incredible job this year across the building, and he was also largely responsible for the beautiful flag display that we had out front, at Patriots Day. So he's been a wonderful addition to the building as well. Outdoor learning spaces, we're leveraging them and using them as best we can. That was a fun activity that some of the support groups, a support class used as a math review. And it's very complicated. I won't get into the details, but the kids did enjoy, the cornhole and the points. And there was math associated with it, I can guarantee you. Not simple scoring. They had to solve problems that corresponded to, to the holes they got it in. So, but that's, as the weather's, nice, we have a nice sign-up sheet for folks who are often signing up to use that outdoor learning space, and come spring, I'm sure it'll pick up again. Our new risers that we saw earlier in the chorus room. And I just want to take a moment just to highlight one of our new staff members, Claire Finnegan, who's our art teacher, who's just been a wonderful addition to the school. The innovative projects that she has with the students, her ability to get those projects out and students to see their work demonstrated and displayed throughout the building. Students come, they're constantly stopping, looking at each other's artwork, excited about the project, see what they might be doing next year. So she has really been quite an addition to our school, and also did a great job with the homecoming 101 Dalmatian theme that we had there as well. So it's just great job with the art club. So she's been a wonderful addition. I'd just like to highlight some staff members when possible. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention just the incredible pride I have in the success of our students in their on our state exams. 100% passing rate in earth science is amazing. And I have to give these folks credit, Mr. Marino and Mr. Redmond. So while going through this change and shift in how it's taught, as far as the phenomenon-based approach to teaching, to be able to to not lose anything as far as our passing rate and our mastery rate, I think is certainly a credit to them, and of course our math program continues to remain strong with that passing rate as well. Moving forward, continuing to look to utilize the outdoor learning space as much as possible. I appreciate the board's support over the past few years of just getting the physical building and grounds up and looking so wonderful, and the additions with the irrigation systems and a lot of the other projects that have been done. We truly appreciate that. So we're going to look to continue to work on that. And those last two, it's ongoing targeted professional development and expanding opportunities for all students. I just wanted to tie in the PD that's going on this year, the professional development with the co-teaching model with the Lacrette's program. They had it last year at the high school, and this year it's come down to us. And I have to say that it's one of the most impressive professional developments that I've been part of and that I've seen. The teachers are really jumping into it. They're eager to try the new strategies. They're eager to get the equipment that they need to make those programs really well. So I think that's just a kind of a reflection of that kind of constant cycle of improvement. We look at what we've done. We look at what we've done well and what we can continue to build on. And I think that's a great example of looking at where we are and continuing to move forward. So I think that's just one of the things I'm very excited about as far as the path forward is concerned. So. That's my update for this year. I'd be happy to take any questions that anyone might have.
So I want to thank you. This was a very detailed and great update, seeing what's happening here. The abundance of opportunities, the role models, just overall, really great to see what's happening here.
Right.
How would you think about, not to put you on the spot, but when you talk to the kids in the building, what do you want them to kind of walk away with? What would the traits of the school be? What would you say to them to say, the characteristics, things I walk away with? What do you think that they would say?
So I think the best way to answer that is kind of what we say to them at the welcome back assemblies,
Yes.
which is that no one in this school community is any more important or any different than everyone else. We have an obligation to one another to make this the best experience that we can for everyone. Everyone deserves to come to school every day, to feel good about the place they're coming to school, to treat others with respect, to expect that in return from folks. When we do our relocation drills, the kids are always so good. We get them quiet on the stage. And, we really hammer home that we're here to take care of each other. We're in a school community together, and whatever we can do to, make that experience better and stronger is what we're going to do. So, for me, at this level, at the middle school level, it's compassion for others, it's respect for others, learning how to learn, understanding the way that you learn, but more importantly, being a good citizen. And I'm happy to hear, the result, the early returns on the survey, Mr. Poole, I think line up with that to some degree as far as just being
Absolutely.
compassionate and caring individuals. So, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Van.
Anything else? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It was my pleasure to be with you guys tonight.
Thank you very much. Okay. Next up on our reports and reviews, we have our STEM program update, Mr. Joe Piacelli. So, Mr. Van, while we're waiting, I just want to compliment you. I think tonight, I got a great energy from your presentation. I could really see what the environment is like. So, thank you, Ms. Picardi, for that. Absolutely. The teachers, the staff, just in general, I just want to throw that out there. It's a very detailed, good overview tonight. Thank you for that. Now we'll put Mr. Piacelli on the hot seat.
Mr. Van's a hard act to follow.
Absolutely.
My partner from years ago, so very proud to have known him for as long as I have.
That's right.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to be
of
here
course.
tonight. For those that don't know me, my name is Dr. Palicelli, Joe Palicelli. I am the Director of Math and Science for the district, K through 12, and excited to be here. It was 2 years and 2 months ago that I was returning to Shoreham-Wading River. As I was returning, there were some important goals that were mentioned to me from Mr. Meinster and Mr. Poole. Some of the goals that I've brought up there, and boy, that looks really small from here. Sorry about that. Hopefully it appears larger on your screen. But establishing relationships with staff K through 12. So K through 12 was a different different animal to me from coming from being a building administrator. So I'm establishing relationships with staff K through 12, as well as understanding the programs that they use, addressing concerns with the math program, as well as integrating the greenhouse here at the middle school into the instructional program, enhancing the rigor and the engineering activities into our technology program, supporting the new home and careers teacher, and upgrading that program to meet the new CTE content standards by the state, implementing the CTE pathway at the high school and looking for further opportunities, preparing our teachers to implement the new next generation standards in both science and math, and also bring our research program, bring that into exploring the possibilities and enhance the competitions that they can achieve. So those were the goals that were brought to me as I walked back into the district. So some of the updates, I believe progress was made in those areas, and I'm excited to highlight some of those opportunities tonight. So to start off talking about, this is kind of like the lead into the presentation, to talk about the state standards in science and then in mathematics. I'd like to talk to you about the preparations that we've done and where we're at as we walk into, we're hitting ground zero for the science and the math, the new next-gen standards this year. I want to talk about some of the upgrades to our technology program. I want to talk about our science research program progress. I think you'll be very excited with that. I think you'll be excited about our business program. Our robotics program is absolutely taking legs of its own, so I think you'll be excited to hear about that, as well as our Bs, our upcoming apiary. So without ado, let me tell you that we have our new Science 5 test this year in April, as well as our new Science 8 test. So these are next-gen science tests. They are the new type of tests that also our teachers are teaching the science investigations. So the state likes to say science investigations. They're really small labs, small lab activities. So this is 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8. They've never done labs at that level before. So now we are integrating new labs while we are teaching content in a new way. So we have made the curricular decisions that needed to be made. As Mr. Van mentioned, in 6th grade we are teaching living science. In 7th grade we made the decision to teach physical science, and we are maintaining our earth science in 8th grade for Science 8, and our earth science regents is maintaining as it is. We have done a tremendous amount of professional development for our teachers. We have sought and connected the dots on teacher collaboration, both inside and outside the district, to kind of increase the number of teachers that are at the table. So the number of earth science teachers, when we pair with another district, you increase the number of minds that are all contributing to these decisions. So it definitely helps make a more well-rounded decision. We've acquired the needed materials. Passed. We already have the materials that we need, and our teachers have already practiced. So we're walking into this year with the materials we need, with the equipment we need, with teachers that have already received the professional development, with already practiced. So we're walking in, hitting the ground running, ready to go. So,
Mr. Pacelli, just real quick. So then it looks like, so the children that were in grade 4 that are now in grade 5, they'll experience the test. Is that what you're saying?
they will experience the test. That is correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And to that point, Mr. Sheridan, is that the investigations. So the kids that are in grade 4 may not have, that were in grade 4 last year, did not see the investigation when they were in grade 3. So we have set aside, we've made I want to say the scheduling decision. So before the science test, our 5th grade teachers are going to go through all the investigations with the kids, because these investigations make up 15% of the exam. So we have made the decision to go through all the investigations prior to the test. So the investigations, like I said, they're in grades 3 through 5, as well as 6 through 8. 15% of their respective exam. So again, all the equipment is on hand. We had to purchase new microscopes for our 6th grade teachers. They do a living science, where they're putting leaves and cells under a microscope. The microscopes we had were in sore need of updating. We did. They have them. They're in use. So all that was taken care of last year. It was in use this year. All the needed supplies. We had our science lab, just a little story that we had our science lab aide here at Purdell go to a training session at BOCES. I wanted her to see it as well, watch the investigations happen. So she came back and she says, Joe, I did not realize how far ahead we were. And I said, what do you mean? She said that she's sitting in a conference room in a U-shape with all these other districts, and they're still trying to figure out how to order the needed materials. And she already had all the materials already kitted, already ready to be distributed to teachers. And we are already, our teachers have already done this before, and she's already watched this happen. And she's sitting around the table with districts that haven't even really engaged in the materials yet. So I was glad to hear that we're already ready, and we're ahead of the game. I gave you some examples of some of the investigations. So if you see in grades 3 through 5, these little mini lab activities, the circle of life, the cloud in a bottle, light it up. To give you an example, light it up is kids have to make a series in a parallel circuit where they put a couple of light bulbs in series to see that they all dim. When you put more than one light bulb in series, it dims. So the kids have to do this little miniature lab. What's in the bag is like a properties of matter, where they put an Alka-Seltzer in a bag, and the Alka-Seltzer shrinks and the bag blows up because it turns into a gas. So it's like little investigations like that kids have to record it. In grades 6 through 8, It's Alive is a lab where they have to prove that it's a cell, that a cell makes up life, so they have to look under a microscope and see the different parts of a cell. Cool It is about thermal conduction, how fast things cool up or how fast it conducts heat. So they have to test how fast heat moves. So mixed up is they have to like separate. They get a cup full of like metal filings, different size media, and they have to separate it. They have to develop filters to kind of separate it. So it is very good activities for kids to do. At the secondary level, so now where I'm talking about earth science, I'm talking about living environment, I'm talking about chemistry and physics. So we have our consultant, Dr. Kang. So we needed her to demonstrate for teachers. So she's a professor for Adelphi. So she's in the teacher training program. So we needed her to demonstrate for our high school teachers what phenomena-based teaching looks like. So we asked the teachers, what do you want to see? They provide that input, she develops the lessons, she gives it to them. So it's a funny thing to watch. Teachers become students. So I watched her teach teachers and watched them become students as they did the activity, high school teachers. So I watched them really turn around. Some of these pictures, like that picture in the center, is Dr. Kang demonstrate the difference between P waves and S waves. So the teachers are lined up in the hallway at Miller Place, and they have to bump each other in one direction or the other direction to simulate a P wave or an S wave of an earthquake. So it's activities like that that kind of open the teacher's eyes as to what really teaching with phenomena is all about. So our high school teachers got to collaborate with their colleagues at Miller Place as they tried to incorporate and update their lesson design with this phenomena. So they got to work with colleagues that teach the exact same content. So it really made it a much richer process. They're updating their curriculum. We started doing that last year. So not only did we expose them to phenomena-based teaching last year, but we started updating curriculum last year. We're continuing that curriculum update last year, and in fact today was a huge piece of that, to where they're updating their curriculum. Next year, we have to start teaching the new earth science curriculum and the new living environment, which is not really living environment anymore, it's called biology. We have to start teaching that next year. Well, the teachers have already been exposed to what that looks like. We've already started working on curriculum development. We continue that today. We're going to continue that through the year. We have more PDs scheduled to continue exposing that to them. We're going to be ready to teach earth science and biology next year on schedule. So we're staying ahead of the curve on this and just keeping my ear to the teachers. They're comfortable with where we're at and where we're going.
So just real quick, so when I was younger, it was biology. Now I went to
Now
living
it's back to
environment. Now
biology.
it's going back to biology.
Yeah. Yes. So earth science is turning to earth and space science.
Earth and space,
And yeah, they're adding the space piece into it and some of those concepts. And living environment is turning to biology. Okay, so on the math side, not as dramatic as on the science side, because the next-gen math standards were really an outgrowth out of the Common Core. Yeah, I don't want to belabor that conversation, but the Common Core was, well, I don't have to tell you, that's what it was. And what the state tried to do to rectify the issues with the Common Core is they brought parents and educators and people to the table and said, let's make the corrections, and they made minor corrections, minor revisions to the standards, and called it Next Generation Math Standards. So our teachers have already analyzed those changes. They've already updated their scope and sequence for the courses that are affected, Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2. So we've already incorporated that, and the teachers have already started practicing their new curricular changes as this year. So now this year, we start our Algebra 1 exam, our new Next Gen Math Standard Algebra 1 exam. The exam's being given June 4th, and so we just lost 13 days worth of instruction because the exam's being given early. Our teachers have already sat down, looked at the scope and sequence that they've already developed off the new standards, and were able to find what they had to do to make that a June 4th exam. Not easy, because there's not a lot of spare time, but they had to figure out where they can make that match. The point I'm trying to make, though, is that they already had the map. The map was already made, the standards were already incorporated, and now they had to make an adjustment to it, but they already had it to do it. So that's kind of where the math is. What we did do inside the classroom, we added new smartboards to the classroom, and we added new whiteboard spaces, because the kind of the message to the math teachers is, I want more student engagement. We want kids up. We want to be able to incorporate some of the new teaching strategies that we're working with our inclusion teachers with. We want to be able to do station teaching. We want to be able to have two teachers on opposite sides of the room. I want kids to be able to work instead of sitting at their desks. So we added more whiteboards. So every math teacher's got multiple whiteboards now on both sides of their smartboards. They've got the new smartboards now, so it's not the smartboards that needed to be calibrated more often. These are fantastic boards now. So we are having that conversation, we're having that message, and I spoke with one of the teachers today, Ms. Frazier, and she said it's absolutely fantastic. Her and her inclusion teacher were doing station teaching, one on each board. So she said it's absolutely working. So I'm starting to see that seed start to take root. So let's see. Okay, that was just an example on that right-hand side of what that scope and sequence looks like. I know you've seen that before. It's a very simple outline, a very simple map. But when you lay out the days next to it, it kind of serves as a pretty effective guide. At the elementary level, so I think everybody is pretty aware that last year we had that elementary math program committee made up of teachers, administrators. We took a look at the current program. We looked at its pros and cons. The committee decided they wanted to take a look at the Math Squared, or the new revision to Eureka Math. The committee did find that the concerns with the original Eureka were addressed. We piloted it. We had the sales rep, and we kind of grilled the sales rep about a lot of the concerns with the original Eureka. We piloted to find that a lot of those issues, all of those issues, were addressed. The readability, the spacing, the number of lessons, it was all addressed. So what we did is we found out through the pilot that these concerns were addressed, and the committee made the recommendation to adopt this as our math program for the next 5 years. I obtained, what I did is I went to the vendor, I said, give me Module 1 now, June. I put Module 1 in the teachers' hands in June, so that way they had a chance to review it before summer came, so that way they were prepared for September. September came around, we started September, 2 months ago, hit the ground running. I kept my ear to the teachers. All feedback was positive. We had at 3, 4, 5, some of the scoring guides had fractional points, where if it was a question that had like 3 parts to it, 2/5 of a point if they got this part right. So we sat down, me and the teachers, and we made the necessary modifications. We codified that in a document. We saved it to the drive. Teachers all have access to it. We moved on. So a couple of minor modifications. Everybody's happy and comfortable. They've all reached the end of Module 1. Everybody, all the teachers, all reported feedback has been positive. So it seems like we're in a success. I kind of gave you a couple of pictures just to show you that, you know, we're in color now. We've got spacing for the kids to work now. It's definitely been more well received by kids as well as parents. Technology, so in our technology program, so I'll tell you at the middle school, right, our Kid Win program has grown even further, so it's become like a mainstay now in our middle school technology program. As I probably mentioned to you before, the Kid Win program is where they use a wind generator to try and generate, the goal is to try and generate the most voltage. They have to decide how many wind vanes they use, they have to decide the shape of those vanes, they also have to decide the pitch of those vanes. Now, we did incorporate, we have a special, I'll say, it's a clip. So it's not just a voltmeter now we put to the wind generator. It's actually a computer that actually measures different aspects, different voltage and current measurements that generates it. So that's a picture of it right below. So kids can take the measurements in a graph. So if we're starting to increase how we measure the voltage and the current that's coming out of these wind generators. It exposes the kids to a different level. We started maglev last year, was a new addition to last year. So magnetic levitation was that competition that we entered at Brookhaven National Laboratories, where, you know, kids, the goal is to stack as many, what would you call it, riders, pennies, into a vehicle that has magnets that rides down a track. Track it's gravitational, so it goes down the track. The time is recorded, and it has to levitate on the track. So one of our students here, his name was Ryan Bartons. He actually took first place in the gravitation. That was our first competition at BNL. So that, again, another engineering challenge incorporated into our technology program. We have bridge design. So the software that we used last year we didn't like. We have a new software design. It's a Model Smart 3D, where kids actually do the bridge design in the software, and the software can tell you the load of different members of the bridge, and it turns it colors. So the kids, so if they didn't design it properly, the bridge will break in the model. So if the kids can build the design in the computer and it holds, this design software will actually create a bill of materials that the kids actually build it in, and then they test it. So that's the software on the right-hand side that we're incorporating. We started to incorporate last year. We've got the software, so that's going to become a project for this year that becomes more of a mainstay this year. And we want to add the Lego robots. We have the Lego robots. The brains of these Lego robots is outdated, so we're going to have to get new brains for them. But we'd like to incorporate the programming of the Lego robots into our tech program this year. So starting to add some of these computer science and some of these programming into our tech program. So I think that's where technology is going. I'm sure you agree that I'm glad glad Mr. Driscoll is really latching on to some of these opportunities. So at the high school level, so Mr. Sigerson, right out of school, like he's got all the training. The schools that he did his student teaching at are schools that I've actually either been a teacher or an administrator at. So he's seen these things that I'm showing you right now, the drone technology, the programming of drones. He did that at Patchogue Medford. So he got to see these already working. So this is where kids get to program these drones to navigate an obstacle course. So this is a first time for us, but not a first time for him. So I'm anxious to see that. I can't wait till they get started with that. So we have drone technology that's going to be more of a computer programming activity. We have the 3D printers and a laser engraver, which allows students the opportunity to transform 2D designs into 3D designs using software packages that they're using in the world today. So, yeah, again, exciting opportunities. We haven't used the laser engraver yet, and we haven't used the 3D printers yet. The software is we're still connecting the dots on the software to make that happen. Mr. Sigerson, though, has increased the hands-on opportunities in both the architectural program and the electrical program. So him and I had a lot of conversations over the summer about an electrical program. I want to see more than just soldering computer boards together. We don't really solder computer boards together anymore. So he's got the kids wiring up mock-ups. So they have to interpret a wiring diagram to wire up three-way switches, single-pole switches, outlets. They have to wire it up on a mock-up, and then they have to present it to him, and then he has to see if it followed the schematic, and they have to test it, make sure it operated. Now that's real hands-on electrical work. So I'm excited to see him incorporate those kind of opportunities. The 3D modeling, so if you see on the right-hand side, so he has them for the structural, for his architecture class. Like the kids have to build this model, but they have to design the model. Then they have to come up with a bill of materials to build that model. And then they have to come and buy their bill of materials from him, the store, to put that model together. And so they have to dimension the windows. They have to, as far as the structural load, the way you have to put the bracing over the windows, I mean, all the way the load has to be distributed, he's already taught them that, and they have to follow all that. It's definitely a more of a hands-on way, I think, of teaching this course, that I'm so glad that he had that expertise and that initiative to
Ms.
implement
Pichel,
that.
this is one of our high school electives.
This is one of our high school electives, yeah, absolutely. And actually, Tom, it always has been. I just don't know that I don't know that it's been taken to this
Looks
degree.
more robust than.
Yeah,
I
I would definitely say that.
With the drone technology, is that more of a club, or that's?
No, that's in the class. That's being done in the World of Technology class.
World of technology.
Yeah, yeah.
They're coding now.
They're coding that, yeah, yep. Right. So in our science research class, that's Ms. Schaefer. So a lot of work has been done there. So Ms. Schaefer and I, so we've restructured the class, and I think I've mentioned that before. So we restructured it into like an intro to science research, a science research, and then an advanced science research. We were clear in the course book about defining what the expectations at each level were, defining what the summer assignments were, defining what the research writing structure was, what the presentations, and what the expectations were in participating in competitions. I listed some of those for you. So we have 11 of our first-year students that are participating in the Long Island Science Congress. We have 4 second-year students that are entering the SPARK program and also participating in the Long Island Science Congress. We have 4 of our third-year students. 4 of our third-year students that are entering the LICEF, the Long Island Science and Engineering Fair, which is definitely a higher level competition. It actually feeds Regeneron. And we have 2 students that are in the process of completing their application to Regeneron. Now, they are giving me gray hairs because Regeneron application closes tomorrow at 8 o'clock. They have tomorrow till
Hope that's
8 o'clock to hit the final submit. Now the Regeneron application, I'll tell you, it's like an 11-step process. It's not just what the research is. Not only do they have to have what their research is, and it's an expanded application on the research, but the letters of recommendation, not just from their mentor, from their teacher, from their research teacher, from their counselor, but then there's essays about them, about where, and essays. So it's a very detailed application process. So I'm actually meeting with Alex Zhang tomorrow. So he wants me to look over his application before he clicks the final submit. So I'm hoping that he has a completed
luck,
application. I've been checking in with both Derek Blanco and Alex Zhang for every 3 days for like the last month, saying, how we doing? Do you need help?
Can I ask, do we have a structure that supports them other than you, or?
Oh, absolutely. And Ms. Schaefer is working with Derek as he's been tracking through. In Alex's case, he made a scheduling decision to not take the research class because a different class was a priority of his. So his research was with a scientist out of Purdue University in Georgia. So he was doing that from a different connection. He was with Ms. Schaefer for his first 3 years. This last year, he was working on his own. When he came back, he had the option to be with Ms. Schaefer, and he chose a different path.
So one of the students is using the Spark research and the other students. doing
Exactly,
something else.
exactly, yeah, yeah. But it's not to say that we haven't been supporting him. We definitely have. But he did make a choice. But we're still supporting him absolutely as he's been going through the process, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, yep. But I mean, we do have that path and we do have that process now. We do understand what that looks like. We understand what it takes. We understand so much more now about Regeneron and about its application, about what it takes, about the type of research it takes, about when we can open up the application. So we understand so much more about it, and our kids are, and we've created this pipeline. So I'll tell you that we have 3 students that are currently juniors. You can only submit to Regeneron if you're a senior. But you can open the application if you're a junior at the end of your junior year. We have 3 students right now that have projects that are going for that LICEF, that have projects that will likely be going for Regeneron next year.
So that's
So
introduced through those courses, and they're pushing it to.
we have that process now in place. Yeah, absolutely. So, and we know what that looks like. We have that. So we do have that in process. Yeah, yeah. So pretty exciting to me that I think we know what it looks like now, and we have that path. Yeah.
Foundation.
So our business program. So this is our 3rd year of having virtual enterprise. So last year, virtual enterprise was so. Last year, our virtual enterprise was so successful, we actually had 2 sections of it. So each virtual enterprise section makes its own business. So last year, we had 2 courses, 2 businesses. We had Next Gen Sports, and we had Long Island Clothing. And you can see some of the awards they won. So first place for Best Catalog at the Wantagh Trade Fair. 3rd place award for the Best Firm Spirit. And they won a silver award at the Long Island Regional Trade Show for the website, at the website competition. So our kids are being successful in these trade shows. So this year, we have 1 section of virtual enterprise. The company, they decided, this group decided they would do an interior design company. They named it Lion Design with a Y. I don't know where that came from. They are currently working on their logo. They have a virtual event. A virtual event next Friday, a virtual networking event next Friday. And then I listed some of the events that they will be going to. Each event targets like a different aspect of a business that they have to compete against other schools with. So, and we also have recent SED approval for this to be a state-approved CTE pathway. So it represents another high school graduation pathway for our kids with state approval. So, so kudos to Ms. Cosgrove, and she's very excited to move this class, this program into a different level. So our robotics program, another very exciting thing. So I go up. So we had that the club fair. So in the right outside the auditorium, the amount of kids that were surrounding while the kids were running the robots. So the kids had the functional robots from last year. So they had 2 or 3 robots that were running around, right? And the amount of kids that were surrounding this and wanted to use the controllers. So P.S. the next robotics meeting they had on Thursday, there had to be 20 kids up in the room watching the robots run around. Okay, so let's let that settle down. Let's see what we got. Let's see how many people are really signing up. So we have 17 students that signed up for robotics.
That's great.
I had to create 2 teams. So now we don't just have the A team, we have a B team now. So you're gonna laugh, but it's really true. It's as hard to get Rolling Stones tickets as it is to get into these competitions. So I have to be sitting at my desk at 12 o'clock, and I have to wait, and I have to keep hitting refresh. It's open, click, and that's what I had to do. So we are in 3 competitions. One's in January, 2 of them in February.
Wow.
At Farmingdale, Kennedy High School, which is in Belmore, and Adelphi, which is in Garden City. So the A team is in Farmingdale, and then I realized we need to have 2 teams. So then 2 teams were created.
Wow.
Both teams are competing at Kennedy High School in Belmore, and then both teams are also competing in Adelphi. So it's really, and now they've identified that there's a Autodesk has a Fusion attachment to Autodesk View. It's a software that actually 3D models. So the kids want to use this 3D modeling capability of Fusion so they can test the robot out in 3D modeling.
I'm
it's
pretty
ver-
impressed just sitting here.
It's
listening.
crazy. It's absolutely
That's
crazy.
great.
And last but not least, I got to give Mr. No Hill a lot of credit on this. He is just a thinker, and he just keeps going. So he wanted to enhance our agricultural program. So this is not a club. This is in the agricultural program itself. So to start our apiary, so our beehive. So we've located, obviously, you know, the shed is being relocated. We've had the hives. So we purchased these hives from a company in Australia that has, the only guy that has a patent for these special flow hives that we can extract honey without disrupting the entire hive. So we have those hives. The kids have already assembled those hives. And we actually purchased already the technology package that monitors. It monitors the temperature of the hive. It monitors the weight of the hive. It also monitors the bees going in and out. So you can actually monitor the health of the hive from an app on your phone through this package.
amazing.
So the kids are assembling this. The kids are setting all this up so they can monitor the hive. So the one thing I asked the kids to do is I want to have a camera. So because I want the other schools, I want the
just gonna ask
teachers
you
in the
that,
other
yeah.
schools
That's
to be able to use like a YouTube channel and be able to log in and be able to see the hives from their school
That's
on
really
their
smart.
smartboard in their classroom.
Silly
So
question, but is there corrective action that you can take if you're seeing, you know, the temperature drop, or or if there's not movement with the bees? Is that the idea?
you know what? That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, there has to be a corrective action you can take. I just don't know it. I just don't know it. But there has to, because why else would you monitor it? I know in the beginning, I know that the bees. That's why we have to wait until March to install them, because it takes time for them to build up enough honey to survive a winter. In the meantime, we have to feed them sugar, apparently. I didn't know this. Who would have thought we have to be buying sugar to feed them? Yeah, but that's what we have to do.
Sounds
Yeah,
like
and that
cafeterias when you
contributes to
rate
the
it
weight of the
per
hive.
Sugar, Glenn.
Yeah. So,
Next year's budget to get the.
yeah, I know, exactly. Well, that's what
Sugar
we're
for
gonna do.
bees,
We're
bee
gonna incorporate
sugar.
sugar into the budget. Exactly. Yeah, no, we really do. So, but we're also gonna be setting up a pollination garden out in front of where the shed is, to provide them with that, you know, with the flowers and, you know, right there in front of the shed. So.
What a practical use, putting the camera in to keep an eye on the bees and
I
offering that
love,
out.
I tell you, I could picture, you know,
That's
the
neat.
elementary school teachers being able to bring up a YouTube channel on their smartboard and have the kids see what's going on. I just find that like awesome.
The
Yeah.
Wildcat bee
Yeah.
hunts. There we go.
How Mr. No Hill involved the students in the building of this.
They're doing it.
Hives,
He's,
too.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and even the technology, because when I was excited when we got the box. So as soon as we get the box, I go, here, Kev, here's it's called a Hive Genie. So I said, here, the Hive Genie's in. And he goes, I'll give it to the kids. And I know they're going to go right after it. They're going to dig into it right away. That's
The only group of students that are
yeah. It's
Well, this is a club or this is a?
no, this is the class. This is the agricultural class. Yeah. So a lot of cool stuff going on in STEM. I'm sorry, I'm probably long-winded, but
it's
a
good.
lot of really cool stuff going
Yeah,
on.
no.
I'm pretty excited about what's going on. I do need to acknowledge, and Mr. Poole and Mr. Meinster, their encouragement, their inspiration, a lot of thought, a lot of ideas, and the support. So I really do want to acknowledge them and thank them for their support and their inspiration and encouragement. My administrative team, Mr. Van included, they've always been eager partners in anything I've wanted to do or implement or any conversations I've needed to have. They've always been eager partners instead of trying to, you know, shy away from it. They've always been willing to help me out. And the teaching staff, I tell you what, I want to tell you that not just collaborative, because collaborative doesn't do it justice, but I could go to any one of the K through 12 teachers and I feel like I have a collaborative and friendly rapport with any of the teachers that I could walk in and have a conversation and not have it be a weird conversation because I'm the administrator. So the collaborative nature of them, the open communication and the understanding between us, we're focused on providing the best education for kids, and I think having that open communication has really like made it happen. So I'm really happy about where I'm at. I'm really happy about the things that we're doing. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Pagelli.
Questions, concerns, comments?
No, very thorough.
Sorry, I get a little carried away.
Sounds great.
that?
Great to see your enthusiasm.
Yeah, no, tell you what.
Thank you.
For me to be speechless, that was great.
Next time you come, bring honey for everybody.
We've already talked about that too, having the little jars with the little thing in.
Delivered by drones.
That's good.
Delivered by drone, there you go.
Delivered by drones. Practical use of all this technology. Okay, next up, we have votes and resolutions. And Ms. Mahoney, we have approval of policies, right? Second reading and adopt as presented, so. I don't think you need to read these, right, at this time, or no, right? Just can adopt. Just checking, okay. May I get a motion? First, Megan, and Mike, any thoughts or questions? Okay to vote? All in favor? 6-0. Next is our approval of our October 10th, 2023 regular public meeting minutes. On this one, Katie, I believe you'll need to abstain, right? Okay, yeah, just checking. May I get a motion, please? Megan, second Henry. Any questions? Okay to vote? All in favor, 5-0, with Katie abstaining. Next up, approval of our October 24th regular public meeting. Katie, I think I have to have you abstain right from this one as well. Okay, gotcha, okay. So may I get a motion, please? Henry, second Jim. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? There'll be 5, 1 abstain. Next up are our curriculum and instruction resolutions. Is it okay if I take these as a block? 2 of them. There's 082 and 083. Approval of the affiliation agreement with the University of Scranton and approval of the overnight field trip. Can I get a motion? First Henry, second Mike. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? 6-0. Okay. Next up is what, personnel, right? On our personnel agenda, I just want to call out. Yep, exactly. So I'm going to separately vote for 01. So let's do this. I'll approve the personnel agenda except for 01. May I get a motion to approve personnel? Mike? Second, Katie. All in favor? 6-0. On 01, may I get a motion? Katie, second, Megan. Any discussion or question? All in favor? 4, right? 1, 2, 3. Jim, did you have your hand up? I'm sorry. So 01, I'll let you look at it for a minute. Let's revote. Ready? Okay, all in favor? 4. Any noes? 2. So 4 and 2. Thank you. I did want to put a plug in. Tomorrow, I forgot to mention, I think, Jerry, that there's a blood drive at Miller Avenue. So I know that Mrs. Steinbrecher would be happy to know if anyone out there would like to go donate blood on behalf of the, I believe that's the PTA, right, that runs it. So thank you over at Miller Avenue. I think it begins around 3:30. Wading River, excuse me, my bad. I got the right event, wrong building. I'll get there. Okay, anything else? Anyone have any discussion, questions? Any statements from residents? Okay. May I get a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting? Jim, second. Katie, all in favor? 6-0. Thank you.